DKT UPSC CSE। अगर आप केवल सिविल सर्विस परीक्षा के प्रीलिम्स, मेंस और इंटरव्यू के वीडियो देखना चाहते हैं तो सब्सक्राइब करें DKT UPSC CSE चैनल। यहाँ आपको टॉपर्स के वीडियो रैंक के हिसाब से अरेंज मिलेंगे। चैनल के लिंक के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में जाएं।
Good evening everyone, my name is Sahitya and I have secured rank 24 in this year's civil services examination, and in this video I would like to talk about zoology, which is my optional, and as you must all be knowing that zoology is one of the most rarely taken up subjects, and I have had this interest towards zoology because I was a BPC student, which is biology, physics and chemistry, during my +1 and +2, and afterwards I aspired to become a doctor and I could not become a doctor. I got into pharmacy, and during my pharmacy days also we have studied many of the topics which are a part of zoology syllabus for UPSC civil services examination. And because I have been a science student throughout my life, I thought I would probably have a better aptitude towards zoology, and I would have the good style of presentation of answers for my zoology, and that is why I had taken up zoology. But trust me, zoology has been one of the primary reasons why I could not clear my exam in the initial years, because it has got very little overlap with general studies, and because I have the love for learning, and I would go through the standard textbooks many number of times, and I found it very difficult to balance the preparation of zoology with general studies, because both of them have been somewhat fresh for me. So that is why I think zoology has taken quite a bit of my time to prepare, and nevertheless I did not give up on zoology. I stayed with it throughout my attempts. I had written 4 mains with zoology, and I have scored the following marks. In 2017 I scored 210, in 2019 I scored 222, in 2020 I scored 260, and in the last and final attempt in 2021 I scored 278 marks in my zoology. So during the end attempts, zoology has handsomely contributed towards my score, but I think there are people who have scored much more in zoology. Nevertheless, I have been able to manage zoology during the last attempts, and it has been really helpful to boost my score. So here's what I have done for zoology. I did some classes from Visakhapatnam with a teacher. I did get the basics of them, but most of the preparation was on my own, self-study. I followed the following textbooks or the websites or the toppers notes or the handwritten materials and the materials which are available for zoology in the open market. So I purchased them, and I used them for structuring and revision as well. But the standard textbooks that I followed, or the sources that I followed, were these for vertebrates and invertebrates, that is for classification I followed R.L. Kotpal, and for ecology and environment I did follow Iraj Barucha, and also the internet which I have used, and the handwritten material which was available in the market of different sources. And in addition to that, ethology also I followed through internet, and also the handwritten material and the material which is available for zoology in the market. And in addition to that, for economic zoology I followed iaszoology.com, in addition to Kajal Javla ma'am's notes. She got rank 28 in the year 2018, so she uploaded all her notes, so I downloaded them and I followed that for economic zoology. And for statistics, biostatistics, it's mostly internet, and it is also the handwritten material that I have purchased from the market. And in addition to that, I followed for instrumentation, because it's a combination of both internet and the handwritten notes. And afterwards, for paper 2, I mostly relied on standard textbooks for all of these. For cell biology, I followed Lodish, although I feel that Lodish is slightly exhaustive and one does not require that much of things. So if you have already purchased any material from your classes or from the market, make sure that you keep it to it. it, and Lodish is helpful for diagrams, especially for endoplasmic reticulum or for Golgi complex, but for otherwise for mitochondria and all, you don't require so much of it. And next, for genetics, I followed Molecular Biology of Gene, which is written by Watson along with other authors. It's published by Pearson Publications. It's a very exhaustive book. It's a beautiful book which gives you the practical inputs of genetics as well, but it's very exhaustive, and honestly I don't think it is required. Because I have studied from that Molecular Biology of Gene, my basics of genetics have been very strong, so that way it has been helpful. And other than that, I followed another textbook called as Hartle and Jones for genetics. That has also been very good. I downloaded the online copy and I followed it rigorously, especially for pleiotropy or for mutation or for the other the aberrations of Mendelian genetics. I think it's very good in Hartle and Jones, but I think that is once again very exhaustive. Follow one good textbook for genetics so that all your concepts are clear. It is either through online or through the standard textbooks. And finally, you can go through the material which is available in the market for your structuring and for your quick revision. And in addition to genetics, I think I must say we have evolution. For evolution, once again I followed Kajal Javla ma'am's notes and also the material that I purchased from the market. And for same goes for systematics, it's mostly internet and the notes that I had purchased. And for biochemistry, it is U Satyanarayana, which really helps you for the basics of biochemistry, especially the structure of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. And in addition to that, if you have to talk about the enzyme kinetics and all that, it is very helpful, so you can go through that. Leninger is very exhaustive. I did go through that, but I think it is not required for this exam. In general, if you've studied and if you're an MSc graduate or if you're a BSc honors graduate, then you must be knowing what books are better. This is for people who are not from that background but who are from allied fields, so I'm talking about them. And for physiology, I have followed Tortora. Tortora I have been following since my B Pharmacy days. I found it very useful because it's beautiful. It has got very good description, very good diagrams, very good photographs as well. So Tortora has been of great help. Tortora, I have used it not only for physiology, but I used it for understanding the concepts of cell biology, for biochemistry, for developmental biology as well, because it covers the concepts until fertilization as well. And if you talk about developmental biology, I did follow Gilbert. I religiously studied for cell induction pathways or cell interactions and for metamorphosis and the different signaling pathways. It has been very beautiful. If you have time, you can always follow that and make notes out of definitions as well. So as far as making notes is concerned, for zoology I did try it in the initial years, but I thought it was not needed because it is mostly combination of your technical definitions along with your diagrams, which I would practice or which I would underline from the textbooks itself and from the notes that I purchased. So that's what I did. I never enrolled in any test series from any of the institutes. I just bought the materials which are available in the market, which were very helpful for revision. So in addition to following the standard textbooks, that is the help that I had taken. And for zoology, the only suggestion that I would have to people is that if you're fresh pass outs out of zoology, or if your desire is very much burning towards zoology, then opt for it, or otherwise be wise in choosing it, because it takes up an inordinate amount of time for many candidates. So if you're willing to pay the price, then you can choose zoology. But I wish you all the very best, and if you have good enough of time, good enough amount of time, then you can go for zoology, because it will teach you so many things about animals and about life in general and about technical competence. But if you have little time at your hand, then I would suggest you to choose your optional wisely. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk about zoology.